Hey guys, what's happening? It's Meshi with, I almost said with Path to Wellness. Oh my god. It's Meshi with Aligned Plants. How are you today? Today we're going to be planning and setting up my February setup in my common planner. And I know it's already February. We're a little behind the ball, but that's okay. And we're also going to be setting up my first official week of February. And that is the week of, I don't even know. It is the week of the 6th all the way up to the 12th. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't we just get started? I'll put some music on and then I'll walk you through all the things. And of course, if I'm using a certain supply, then I will just kind of show you and I will walk you through exactly what I'm using. And hopefully this is bright enough. Let's hope it is. And I have my coffee ready to go. Total side note, I had like this orchid and now it's in like the silicone cup because I kind of broke it, but it's so pretty and it's the flowers are still there, so we're going to keep her in the little water. We are getting started with my monthly layout first. I'm just showing you the washi tape. This one is from MT. Super cute, adds like the right amount of like little accenting. It's not too obnoxious. It kind of keeps everything kind of nice and clean and neat. I originally bought this from Paper Plus Cloth in my recent haul, and so far it's working out great. Don't ask where I got the other washi tape from because I've had it for years. Maybe Michael's, maybe, I don't know. I can't remember honestly. Nevertheless, they look super cute together. And now we're just right on to putting down some decor. I'm marking down Valentine's Day, my birthday, and also it happens to be a long weekend that week. And if you're in Canada, you already know that on the I believe it's the 21st, that it's going to be Family Day. I'm also using these tiny little icons. I believe these are little dogs, maybe. And honestly, just like the little emotions that they have, it's so cute. I absolutely love them. I might have gone overboard with it, but that's okay. I'm also marking down days when we get paid. I mean, I'm probably going to be adding all of our bills in there as well, just so that I'm actually reminded. But for now, I just really wanted to take some time and actually add some decoration in there. It's going to be an interesting month. It's a short month. Most people are highly depressed around this time. And I find that for me, it ends up being my birthday, Valentine's Day, all the things. They kind of get congested together all in one spot. So it's an interesting month. I tend to not completely go overboard with trackers and with all the things when it comes to decorating really my monthly spread, because I really wanted to kind of keep it minimal but still very functional, add a splash of color so that there's a differentiation between the previous month versus the current month. I'm using my Tombow brush pen just at the very top to kind of mark down the month. I'm not entirely sure how I like this style of lettering, but we're just gonna go with it. We're just kind of going to rock that. I'm definitely rocking the pink and gold theme this month, and I really like how that turned out. It's very subtle and kind of elegant. As you can tell, I'm kind of struggling with the washi. So the sidebar, I'm using it for two main purposes. One will be the priorities. I'm kind of breaking it down into three main priorities that I kind of wanted to focus on. I wanted to keep it very minimal so that I'm not overloading each month with so many expectations and so much writing. And I'm also writing down goals. Now within the goals, I kind of threw in a mix of health goals, financial goals, business goals. So I kind of mishmashed a little bit. I do have it a little bit cleaner, kind of written out into subsegments in my minimalist planner and the VDS planner. If you haven't caught that, I have kind of posted about it on Instagram. I didn't really make like a full video about it because I just didn't really feel like it warranted one, but if you guys are interested, I will show you how that kind of looks in my next plan with me. But here, I just wanted to keep it fairly minimal, but also functional in a way that we're really just focusing on like what is the main thing that you actually want to focus on this month. What is like the thing that will actually move the needle for you for this month, given that it's also a shorter month. So I haven't actually marked down like any appointments or any events just yet. I'm going to kind of wait with it, as I usually just kind of wait until as the month kind of goes on, then I kind of mark them down as things come up. But on the sidebar, I'm using the little Hobonichi stencil, which has been super helpful, and just kind of mark down a few of the main goals that I really wanted to focus on. And then I have priorities, and I'm using the number stencils to kind of mark down 1, 2, and 3. And here we are. We end up with the 3 main things that I wanted to focus on. Picked up like the cutest little decor that just adds a mustache to everything, so obviously we had to put a mustache on February, otherwise it would just kind of feel weird, wouldn't you think? Yes it would. Okay, moving on. The only other thing that I'm going to really add as far as decoration is concerned at this point in the game is it's like a stamp decor kit that I bought from Sterling Ink. So I just kind of place that down in the corner. I generally decorate the corner, and I think that looks really great. So first and foremost, I'm going with this really beautiful floral washi that I have been obsessing over. This whole washi collection that I'm after at the present moment is all coming from the exact same designer. I will just pop the name right on the screen just to avoid me butchering the name and also disrespecting the artist. It's just, we're not gonna get into that, but nevertheless, I absolutely love the florals. I love how subtle it is, and yes, you're watching me struggle here only because I wasn't lining it up properly, nor was I actually using the proper tool, so that's my bad. It is not it's not a direct reflection of how the actual washi tape is functioning, because it is really easy to manipulate it, but we all have those days when we just simply can't make a simple tool work for us because we just can't, and that's okay. Now that I have laid everything down, and you will see me, I believe I pulled this up as well, because it's just, I'm keep ripping the edges, and it really bothered me. So again, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm doing a spread and I want it to look really clean and it doesn't want to work for me, sometimes I'm ready to just completely like chuck it. But this time I kind of stuck with it, so I'm quite proud of myself for just finding a pair of scissors and literally just sticking it through. This week is going to be interesting. I feel like we're moving closer and closer to Valentine's Day, closer and closer to just, I guess, moving closer to spring, which is already quite noticeable. I guess that's sort of where like the floral inspiration comes from. I'm also finding it a lot easier to kind of flow into the weeklies. I definitely feel like the layout that I created for this week is actually a really nice one. You watched me use the stamp these stamp designs on the monthly, but I'm using one here too. I just kind of wanted to kind of keep it cohesive and consistent. The colors that I'm kind of going with here are more blue and like these muted mauve. I'm just grabbing the actual color dots, and I wanted to make sure that I'm not duplicating colors because they all kind of seem about the same, but they're not the same. I absolutely love color coordinating this. It makes me so happy because it just really gives me a direction to go to and to go with. So I'm going with this really dark blue here, and I also picked this taupey color and then this light greenish blue. So that will be sort of my color direction, which actually helps because I swatched the marker off camera and it legitimately like matches almost completely. So that makes me very, very happy. So here we are, we have at least like the week highlighted. And then now we're just gonna kind of take a look at what else is coming up. The sidebar is going to be fairly simple. I'm keeping it as 3 different categories. The first one is going to be priority, then this week, and coming up. I was debating on using the brush pen. I don't know, for some reason, I'm still kind of feeling like I should just use a fountain pen, but I stuck to my guns and I just said, you know what, we're just gonna stick with the brush pen, and that's totally fine. Now, one thing I wanted to kind of change up a little bit from last week is to do the on again, off again colors. So even though I'm kind of highlighting here the categories, it makes sense on the areas that I'm not going to be completely coloring in. You'll see exactly what I mean in a second. And the bottom section will have the categories of clean, so the cleaning schedule, which has been super helpful. Meals, to just kind of do the meal prep, because I usually do our meal planning on Fridays when I'm actually buying our groceries. Anything to not forget, and reflections. And I'm doing something new this week with the reflections section as well. I find that it's so rare. First of all, I'm not used to doing like weekly reflections. I never really take the time to kind of reflect back on how the week was. I don't know why. I just don't. Excuse the technical difficulties, as one of my lights died and then I hooked up the other one. Here we are. So with the whole reflections thing, I think that it's one of those things where it takes practice, and it's just knowing like the importance of why it's important to kind of look back on your week. And right now you're just kind of watching me write in like all of the headers for each category. Even that in and of itself kind of took me a while to kind of figure out like how I really wanted it to be functional for me. With reflections though, I don't know, I kind of like just recording exactly how the week was and what was actually working. So like really focusing on the positives, not so much being like an emotional dumping ground, but really allowing it to just kind of take some time and reflect back on each day and kind of figure out like what was working, what was not working, but mainly just capturing something amazing from each day. I'm also using the time blocking method, and then I'm using the uni pens, because the uni 1 pens with like that subtle color, I find that that's enough for me to kind of like allow it to kind of pop off the page. But I'm adding the stars. So here's the thing, I added like stars so I can actually rate the week. I'm not sure if that's such a healthy and good idea, but we're going to at least try and see how it goes. I'm going back to the previous week, and the funny thing is I actually recorded the whole plan with me for the previous week. I'm not going to post it because by the time I looked at the actual footage, the lighting was so off and the audio was so off that it's just, just take my word for it. It was a hot mess. Sometimes that happens, and that's okay. I guess that's sort of part of the journey, that some of your videos will work out and some of them are just not meant to be posted, and you just don't have to hustle and grind. So it's an ongoing lesson for me. I'm highlighting paydays, I'm highlighting when I'm actually paying bills, and then on the sidebar here, where when it comes to meals and cleaning, I just usually kind of make a quick note of each of the things that I really want to focus on with cleaning. And then before you know it, we're going to be adding all the decor pieces, which I'm so excited about. So I have basically long days on both Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I try my best not to really overschedule myself on those days. But one thing that I really wanted to start doing is to also start kind of blocking off time for recreational activities such as playing the guitar. I bought the guitar like a little while ago, and I'm just finding that I'm not playing nearly as much as I really would like to, and I'm not taking the time to actually develop my skills there. So it's almost like if I'm not in that class to take the class to learn a new song or whatever, then it's sort of like it's just kind of collecting dust. So I decided that this coming week I'm going to start just blocking off time in my schedule, even if it's just an hour, it's okay. Usually it's half an hour to an hour. That's ample amount of time to really just pay attention to things like that. I'm blocking off time and I'm kind of marking down the workouts as well that has been working out really well for this past week. That was actually one of the big successes for this week, that I moved away and I kind of busted the myth of not being able to work out on days when I have like a long day and my work is actually physically strenuous. I was kept on telling myself that if I'm treating all day in the clinic, then I'm not going to work out. But what ends up happening is it's a really good thing for me if I do work out, because I just have to pick a type of yoga practice or like a type of workout that is not so strenuous that it exhausts me, but it's enough for me to kind of get the blood flow moving. So by the time I actually go and work, then I can kind of take on more, if that makes sense. If you're active, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you struggle with motivation because you have excuses that come up, or you just kind of feel like, oh, there's certain days that I really can't, it's going to be bad for me or whatever, I'm here to tell you, give yourself the grace and the opportunity to just try and give yourself 10 minutes. It's usually like if you can get over that 10-minute buffer, then you will be able to see if that workout is right for you or not. That's my rant on workouts. A little bit of a struggle with the PET tape. I mean, if you have a PET tape, you already kind of know that it can go either way with these things, just because they are so, I don't know, they're just so finicky, I guess. And here we are, like this entire sheet of stickers is by far my favorite. So I'm adding some strawberries somewhere for no apparent reason whatsoever. I also added like a little bottle for Wednesday that says "Have a nice day," which is super cute. I'm adding like a little cactus for Sunday, which was also adorable. Like, I love adding these small little decor elements because I find that it just kind of, it spruces up the spread without being overwhelming or without being too much. And this is the finished look in close-up. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give me a thumbs up, you can subscribe, you can support me on Patreon if you'd like to, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next one. Bye!